Are you ready to turn your market booth into a magnet for customers? I've got game-changing tips to help you stand out and sell more. Hey friends, I am Diana and I am a crochet cheerleader. But in this video, we're not necessarily going to talk about crochet. We are going to be talking about market prep and some tips that will help you to be an amazing market vendor at your next event. I am in the middle of prepping for markets. I'm a crocheter, but this video can help anyone be a standout at your next market. These are tools and tips and tricks that I have learned that have helped me to be successful at my markets, even when there were other vendors selling the same exact things that I am selling. I had customers come back to me and say, we liked your items the best. We liked your booth the best. One of the major things that you should be is organized. Make sure that you have all of your ducks in a row. You want to make sure that your booth is a showstopper. I'm going to slide in here a picture of my booth that I've done a couple times. Now I've done a 10 by 10 where I had to fill all the area in a tent, and I've also done a 6-foot long table. Had very similar presentations to them, showstopper. So you want your booth to look as possibly professional as you can. Now this is personal preference. I started out with black tablecloths. I thought they looked nice, and then I updated my tablecloths to white, and it almost gave it a little bit of a facelift. Provided my 6-foot long tables. I provided tablecloths with the little elastic that hooks on the feet below, so it covers up the front of my booth or my table, and also gives me a way to store the boxes that I have. And I will link both the tables and the tablecloths that I have or in need of tablecloths. Now the color doesn't really matter, that's up to you, unless it's specific, like the one market that I'm doing that they're asking for a 10 by 10 tent in white. My tent is actually gray that I own. Now one of the times that I am doing the market for them, there is a theme. Excited, I've never had a specific theme before. Think of your table or your tent as a storefront. Color, use height, clear signage to make everything visually appealing. A cohesive theme or a color palette instantly makes your space inviting. I have my own sign that I created, and I did that with Canva. The color is very neutral. So right now I'm using white tablecloths. Now for the one that's coming up, I may use black because it's Halloween. Now you don't have to go and buy everything all at once. You can collect things around your house. Or height in your booth is better than having it all spread out. It gives people the opportunity to stop and look, and vertical is much better than horizontal. So if you can do that, I have wooden crates that I display my items in, and I use them in different ways. So I have some plant stands, which I will link. The wooden crates that I have, I got them from, I see them at Walmart. Helps. Sometimes I'll flip them around and that will be my office. So I'll put my, my phone in there or whatever it is so that I can grab it and use it right away. So I really like to use those, and you can do them horizontally and you can do them vertically. Is tell the story behind your work. So you don't want to just not say anything to anybody. People just don't want to buy items. They buy stories. So if you can be friendly without being awkward as you can and not being overbearing, let the people come to you, and people will ask you, well, how long did it take to create this? And you can tell them. Even creating a sign with your story on it might be a fun idea. If you're selling at a market where there's also food, you may remind people and may have signage with hand sanitizer, because I have done that. In my case, if people touch it with, I've had items ruined because people have touched it or knocked them on the ground and gotten them dirty, and it's really hard to clean. I mean, you can clean them, but it's really frustrating when all of that hard work that you put in isn't appreciated. So if you are clear in your expectations, it helps communicate to your customers without being overbearing. Do your market prep setup before. Even though you may think that you've got it all together, make sure to do your setup prep the day before or whatever it's going to be. Do it before so you know that you have all your pieces, you know where things are. This is my setup. I forgot, I didn't do my setup, pre-setup. So I'm missing a couple baskets, which I would have known had I done a pre-setup. And I'm not so sure about all this pricing right here. I might have to move the stickers or something. I'm not quite sure. And then, oh, I need to put something on the top. I see, I'm telling you, mad rush this morning. And there's my mystery bags, because I didn't know where to put them. And my signs. Ended up with only one of these today. I usually have 3. And then I didn't make another turtle, but that's fine. And then here's my backpack buddies. And then here is my new signage right here. And I don't know, I just random stuff. I need to fix those chickens, but displaying at eye level is really important. Stacking items at different heights in crates, risers, because I've had those too, and I will link everything like I'm talking about in the description. It helps people envision those different items in their lives if you have those varying degrees of display. One of the most important things is to have different price points. Very, very, very important, because sometimes you will have little cutie people come in and they want to buy something from you. And I have items on the higher end, and then I have items on the lower end. And I even sometimes provide stickers so that if their budget is $1, I don't make anything as cheap as $1. If they have a smaller budget, they can afford the stickers in my booth. I get those from Amazon. Have something for everybody's budget. I wouldn't say lower your costs because people want to dicker with you. I've actually never had that happen. I've heard stories where people have come in and said, oh, why is your crochet expensive? I've never had that experience. Your people will come to you. Then some people I've heard dicker. I've never had that happen either, like trying to lower the price on what you're selling. Be firm in your cost. Be firm because you put hard work into what you have created. Sometimes those small impulse buys are really fun to have inside with your more expensive buy. If you have any experience or comments or questions, let's have those in the comments below. Card and digital payments. I use Square and I also use Venmo. And I also take cash. I have a fanny pack with me strapped to my body when I do my markets so that when people have cash, they can come up, and I make sure that I have $100 worth of bills in there, and I make sure the bills are smaller so that when people are paying with bigger bills, I can give them that change. That's really important to be able to have the digital and the card and the cash. Use a card reader too. I use Square, you can use PayPal, you can use Venmo, or you can also use QR codes. At one point I was using Zelle, and that's something that you could still use. I just have not as many people in my area use Zelle. So it makes it easier so people can pay instantly. And yes, there is a little card fee for Square, but I really love Square, and we're gonna talk about that in a second. Using signs that answer questions for people before they ask them. How much is this item? Make sure that each of your things are labeled with the price, or have a sign with a basket of how much the things are. So like I said, I sell stickers, and so I sell them 4 for $1, and I put that right in the little basket I have so they know that they can pick out 4 and it's only $1. It saves time. It also builds buyer confidence. Sometimes people don't want to talk to you in the booth, but sometimes people feel comfortable and they will come up and ask you. But it helps if you have multiple people in your booth and you're trying to watch all the things. If you have things already labeled, it makes your life so much easier. And I use Square not only for payments, but I also use it to track my inventory. It is a little tedious in the beginning, but it's awesome because Square, you can use it for card payments and you can use it for cash payments and track it in your inventory so you know what else you have still. You want to engage without hovering. Okay, don't scream at them across the room. I had a market where one of the vendors it was kind of awkward because we were in this really small room and she was yelling at people and taking away customers from the rest of our booths because she was being really kind of obnoxious. And we don't want to be obnoxious because that turns people off. We want to be able to sell what we have created. Friendly hi, and then let me know if you have any questions works really well. Welcoming without the pressure. You can say, ooh, I love that sports team that they have a shirt on. Ooh, have you been to that state lately? Or, oh, you know, that looks really good if they're eating something. Just helps that conversation move along. Now, I know that's hard for introverts and a little bit easier for extroverts, but actually talking to people and staying off your phone, that's one of the things really hard. So if I'm at a market and I walk up and someone is on their phone, that actually is a turnoff for me, and I will pretty much walk past what they're selling. I try my best to stay off my phone. Sometimes you have to be on your phone because someone is texting you and it's important, something that you have to respond to, but try your best to be engaging and off your phone. If you can create a hands-on element in your booth, my items are ones that you can pick up and you can squeeze on. So this is something that I created. This is actually a gift for my niece. Her birthday is tomorrow. And this is something you can pick up and you can squeeze it and you can love on it. But if you can have something in your booth, one of the things that I really like to do is have my crochet going. So people can actually see me crochet while I'm in my booth. And, you know, I'll greet them like I just talked about, but I'll continue to crochet knowing that I'm there and they can see me actually in the process of creating something. It does add value to your work. So how that looks with your market is up to you. Promote your socials on the spot. So you can create signage that promotes your Instagram or your Facebook or your YouTube channel right there in the booth, and you could just make it nice and small, or you could have it on your signage. That's really nice and people can connect with you. Offer a discount or freebie during the market. It builds long-term customers because they have that connection with you. Someone that gave me the courage to do markets, start doing markets, is a friend that I made on Instagram. She created a free checklist of the things that you need for your markets that you will do. It takes away from, oh my gosh, I forgot snacks, or all those different things. Events that I'm going to be doing, or the markets that I'm going to be doing, don't have electricity to use. So I'm going to have to, if I take lights, I'm going to have to make sure that they're battery operated. Things that I always take is a charger, and this one I absolutely love. So I'm also a coach. My husband bought it for me, and it can charge my phone all the way. I think I've had to do it 2.5 times. So when I'm at track meets, it's an all-day thing, and I'm on my phone for various reasons. So this charger is one that like magnetizes on my phone. I use an iPhone, so I'm gonna go ahead and link that in there, but make sure that you have a charger for your phone. So have you ever done a market? Do you have any tips that you'd like to share? Are you going to be doing a market? If you are, tell us about it. Tell us the things that you're working on. Tell us what you're making. I think the most important part to remember is to breathe. Every single time I've done a market, I've gotten super nervous and wondered, oh my gosh, are people going to buy what I've made? Are people, am I gonna make my cost for the market back up? Every single time, without fail, I've made the cost of my market up. More content on markets, let me know in the comments, and then I can make more videos like this. Happy market prep, good luck, and see you next time. Why do I keep staring at the apple sign? I wonder if that's weird. Okay, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, hopefully this is working. Let's make the next market the best one yet.